Hello guys, welcome. This is going to be the annual fleet meeting. We're going to really try and hold one of these once a year, because then I don't have to sit here and waffle on too long all the time and take all the fun out of the game for you. So first and foremost, thank you, and I'm glad you've all turned up. We've got a fairly good turnout, but this is all being recorded, so anybody who can't make it, honourable mentions. PMed's unfortunately working, Jason Norris is working, BB Walker is at school, so well, I say school, he's at university, sorry, so those guys obviously can't meet, and Walker's kind of a bit more crucial to the whole process for later on. He's going to be the guy in charge of Discord and the person that we're going to be speaking to, but that'll come to that later on anyway. So firstly, just a couple of fleet progress statements. So I'm just going to go around and ask for, just a couple of words about your fleet, how things are going, and what sort of projects are coming up, where you reckon you're going to be in by Christmas, sort of thing, in terms of level and all the rest of it. So first we'll start with the 81st Fleet, Fairley. Nice. Yeah. So I mean, just adding to that as well, so what I was going to say is any further income now that comes into the fleet bank, instead of using that to buy a ship to add to them, seeing as how the ship sort of thing is covered, as you say, what we'll do is we'll just start buying keys. I want to sort of give a 10 stack of keys with each bundle of ships that we're going to give, so try and get maybe 100 keys worth in there if we make enough EC, if people donate enough between now and then. 82nd Fleet, Gary. Gary, are you there? Gary's got stage fright, I'm afraid.
He might have muted himself and forgot.
Gary, have you muted yourself? Well, we'll move on. We'll maybe come back to Gary if he lets us know he's still alive at any point. We'll go for the 83rd Fleet, Lando.
Yes, we're doing well. We've gained 3 levels since the fleet picked up. We're gaining another level in a couple days' time. By Christmas, I hope to be to level 50.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. In terms of recruitment, I mean, obviously we know you're fucking as maxed out as you can be there. What's the plan there now in terms of sorting out the members?
Well, we're at 468 members now, so we're just holding the remaining spaces for people who want to bring alts in, or somebody has a friend that wants to join.
Yeah. That sounds cool. Alright, Skunky, 84th Fleet, who are not part of the Armada, and they're not going to be part of the Armada, hopefully for some considerable time, unless, somebody decides to leg it on us. Anything, progress on the 84th for us?
Well, as you know, it's a brand new fleet. We're starting from beginning. We're setting up as many projects as we can. I'll be going on recruiting in the next few days, and everything's looking well and good.
Awesome stuff. Right. So that all covered. We'll go into the stuff where I get to waffle a bit. So fleet business, basically. Firstly, I received a few messages, one of them in particular from a duty admiral who will remain nameless, but I'm sure if he's watching this video he's going to have 100% idea of who I'm speaking about. But yeah, in terms of wanting to keep the duty admiral rank and say that it's it's not going to have to involve anything for you to do is a bit cheeky, especially if you're not running with the 81st Fleet, you're running completely separate to us, even completely separate to the Armada, you're running like with a completely new bunch of guys trying to build a fleet in a different Armada. Then that to me means that you no longer really want to be part of the 81st Fleet. You want to go and do your own thing with somebody else. So that's that's maybe what you should do. You know, the Duty Admiral rank is there to encourage growth in the 81st Fleet. So if you're doing that, is to bring new players into the 81st, or even into a fleet in the Armada. I don't care, as long as it's getting them into this group that we all play and run with. You know what I mean? So in terms of can anybody have that, and the big thing is because that rank holds the privilege to invite to holdings, doesn't it? So I don't want people that I don't like, i.e. Cool Tom and the rest of his douchebags, getting access to my fleet stores. So that's why ranks will be removed if people start, you know, acting like admirals in other fleets instead of being the admirals in this fleet. And if anybody thinks that that's you know, in any way wrong of me, please speak now or forever hold your peace. Hellrex, as being a Duty Admiral, do you want to represent the Duty Admirals, and what do you say to this?
It's a fucking lunatic. I mean, of all fleets that you could use in this card, this would not be the one to do it with.
Well, like I say, some people just don't know what side the bread's buttered sometimes. Moving on from that, you know, there's also been a lot of talk, and I'm encouraging anybody in here to speak candidly, which I've got a feeling that probably most of you won't. But you know, there's been some shit said about the way I do and conduct my business, where in terms of what I do with stuff that comes in and out of the fleet bank, what I do with the resources at our disposal, so on and so forth. I'm going to sum this up very simply by saying if nobody likes the way the 81st is running, or has been run and has run quite successfully for 3 years, remembering, you know, all the shit that happened before, most of the people that weren't even in this fleet, you know, during the I'd say 1 to 50, 1 to 60 mark, you know, there's been all that stuff put in before. If anybody doesn't like the way I do things, then they need to say now. And I'm going to go around the table, because I need to know if there is anything anybody wants to say. If they do have a problem with the way things are run, just let me know. So Hellrex, do you have a problem with the way the 81st fleet's been run, or the way I deal with the finances or anything like that?
No.
Ali?
No, I think you're doing a great job.
Now, obviously, this is going on because the stuff that we also get through the 81st gets to the 83rd and gets to the 82nd. It's all been dished out as evenly as it can be by fairly. Now, the reason I mention, I will actually go around the table because I've got a feeling none of you are going to actually say that there is a problem. But if ever anyone does have a question for anything that I've done with something that maybe they put in the bank or all like that, all they have to do is message me and ask me about it, and I will kindly explain to them exactly what I've done. We all know what I do with stuff. You've all been in chat parties where I've just liked the cut of someone's jib and said, that man deserves a T6 ship, let's just give him one, you know? So if anyone does ever have an issue, please come and speak to me about it. Don't go talking to other people and being sly about it. Just come speak to me and you'll get the answer you need. Because part of that is that one thing I've always done and will always do for everybody in this entire 80s section right now is I'll show complete solidarity for you and your actions in this game. Whereas for example, if you fall out with somebody or have an argument with somebody or all the rest of it, even if I believe you to be in the wrong, I will stick up for you 100%, unless it's within the Armada, in which case, you know, we have to try and sort the issue out a bit better than that. But in terms of anybody outside of this Armada and any of the other fleets, you will get complete solidarity from me. I will stick up for you 100%, and I expect the same vice versa. And if anybody has an issue with that, again, speak now. No, cool. So moving forward from that, because I don't want this all to be a big negative, harsh selling of the words, you know what I mean? But there was the caveman issue that everybody's been sort of puzzling over, and I know there's been a lot of chat banter here and there and all the rest of it, and we've heard various reports of things that he's been doing since he's left, which I've been finding quite comical. But all I know is that he was happy to be bought out of the fleet that's now the 83rd. He had no issue with it when I said to him, I think, this happened fairly, didn't this happen whilst you were away? Did I buy the fleet whilst you were away or just leaving? So yeah, this happened. Yeah. So you basically, when I spoke to him about it, I just said, pick a ship and I'll buy you out of your part of the fleet. So I did this, and then he didn't seem to have a problem with it, and then the whole thing with him leaving and then everybody blaming it on Paul Hellrex and all that shenanigans, to which I came and had a fleet meeting, which I don't think was fully understood by the individual we're discussing here. I tried to make it clear to everybody that the Caveman did not cause the disapparition of the Armada. It was not Caveman's fault that all the fleet started to leave. He actually did his best to try and keep Stellar Force in the Armada, but due to a breakdown of communication with somebody who was on a lot of medication, that all went terribly wrong. But all that being said, he got the wrong end of the stick and believed that I'd somehow besmirched his name in some way, which I don't know how that happened. And since then, he's got very paranoid about me wanting to buy the 83rd Fleet, and said that I would be doing some. And he also supplied false information to Fairley, which was that I had given the fleet to Landor and made him an R7, and that I had, just walked away from it, which was absolutely wrong. Landor is R6. There's only me and Fairley. Well, there only was me, and then as soon as Fairley came back, made Fairley the other R7 in there, just like he knew I would. But so yeah, we're really not sure what the deal is with Caveman. We know now that he's been hanging around with Exodus and the Reapers and basically anybody who ever left the 81st in a bad way. So who cares? Running with the guys. Yeah, so, and that sort of opens up into the next one is, just be careful, when we're mentioning Cool Tom and, I'll say this now, Reapers, what are they called? What's the other fleet called? Exodus, and there's another one. I'm sure there's another one. They're basically the guys that are just full of poison and hate everything we do, and there's a good reason why they hate everything we do. Is because we do everything right. We try to help people. We try to give people the shit that costs a lot of money, or you can end up spending a lot of money. We try to give a lot away for free, and we try to help people as much as we can, and that causes a lot of jealousy and envy and hatred. Unfortunately, it's because of the wonderful things we does. So lovely. What was? So for the duty admirals, what I want to suggest is that moving forward, the duty admirals' prime responsibility is to just crack on with building the fleet's reputation, building the fleet's player base, and doing anything you can to make this fleet as big and as good as possible. And when I say this fleet, I include all the 80s within that, you know what I mean? Fairly. Oh, go on. I was about to say Fairly, have you got alt to add? Yep. Yeah, I said it first and I'll say it again. I said the rank that currently occupied by Norris and by Landor is the equivalent of a Vice Admiral rank in the 81st. And the same for every rank going down within your respective fleets. So if you are a rank 5 in the 83rd, you are actually a Duty Admiral in the 81st. And simple, so on and so forth, all the way down. So, anything anybody wants to say? I'm just going to quickly go around tables before we get to some other more easy. Basically, we're just going to talk about the Armada and the awards next. So, just on any of those issues that we've just raised, does anybody want anything they want to say or out like that? And good or bad, you can say your mind, and we'll just do this going down the. I can't go down the list in the chat pack because I can't see it, but we'll start with you, Hellrex.
I'm aces.
You good? Ali, are you sound with everything?
I'm sound with everything, mate. Everything there is brilliant.
Guys from the 83rd?
Everything's good.
Any questions? Anything anybody wants to ask?
Can I be the 81st Dungeon Master for all of these bad apples?
Yeah. I'm just recording. So, Dreamrun, have you got anything you want to say?
No, nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Skunky?
No, everything's good, pal. Everything's good.
Wild guy, I can just see you sat there. Have you got anything? You're one of the 83rd guys, aren't you? You're cool. So no, if everybody's cool on that, I'll show. Oh, Gary, are you back with us now?
Yes, I am back.
Could you just give us a quick progress update on the 82nd Fleet, please?
I haven't been here long, so
Just just sort of whatever's going on, you know, like any projects where you expect to be by Christmas, how the growth, recruitment, that sort of thing. What's the crack over there?
Dilithium Mine, Embassy, K13 Research Lab, all done to level 3 by Christmas. Collingwood is already 3.
Yeah.
We're just hammering away at it at the moment. Need dilithium though, so if any of you guys want to chuck some in, keep coming.
Cool. So just
Yes.
finally on that, before I quickly yammer about the Armada, is just everyone needs to remember is that the fleet bank, anything that goes in there, as far as me and Fairley are concerned, anything that gets put in that fleet bank page is a donation to the fleet, and me and Fairley use that as however we see fit. You notice you'll never see a chat between me and him where we're like, having to go on to great deal of length to explain where something has gone or what somebody did with this or what somebody did with that. It's basically we use it as we see fit. We'll either use it to help somebody, or we'll use it to sell, or we'll use it to do this, that and the other with, or we might even just use it for ourselves, because at the end of the day, when you've spent 3 years doing nothing but help people, I do think it is, just reward that you can occasionally take the odd thing for yourself. And again, I'm pretty sure you'll all agree with me. So, Armada is looking absolutely beautiful, I must say. It's looking absolutely great since the exodus of people that, wanted to go on to bigger and better things and are actually sat there with tiny Armadas doing nothing, as I've been reliably told. The Armada is absolutely sound. We've got the 20% discount, and it looks like if you guys can get the 82nd and the 83rd Fleet both to... maybe if you can get another 5 levels on the 82nd, and we can get, like, where did you say you wanted to be by Christmas, Lando?
I'd like to be to 50.
50, so another 5 levels on that. It's going to put us to 48. Planet Express is going to be another 2 levels by Christmas. I mean, hopefully with everybody else's growth as well, if we can get that 738 to at least over 770 when a fleet leaves, or if a fleet leaves, it won't affect the discount. And then when that happens, we can just throw the 84th in, and we'll carry on. But luckily at this point, if any fleet does leave, it's only going to be one, unless Planet Express suddenly decide to go, which I don't see that happening. Stabies is an absolutely solid guy, and we all get on with him really well. So as far as I'm concerned, the Armada is golden. Fairley, you got anything you want to say on the Armada? Yeah, that's it. And I'll just open up more opportunities for people to put stuff in where they're always saying we need lower level fleets and all the rest of it. Well, we've got one should anybody decide to, try and find somewhere better to be. But if there is somewhere better, I haven't heard of it. Finally, a good thing, happy thing, the awards. As we heard earlier, we are going to be giving away roughly 20 ships to the Armada this year, and we're going to decide a date on that now. So everyone get your calendars out. It's going to be January. Calendar, there we go. It's going to be a Saturday night, or a Saturday daytime for the Americans. How does the last Saturday in January sound, the 25th?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Yep, sounds good to me.
So if we know, I'm guessing because obviously it's such a random date to pick out. Nobody can sit there and go, well, actually, you know, the wife's planning a surprise vacation and all the rest of it. I know you can't do that, but what we'll do is we'll just everybody aim to try and keep that date clear, and then hopefully we can have it. So it'll be. I'm gonna write that date down. Let me get that down. Saturday, the 25th. And we'll do it at midnight UK time, with the doors open from 11, if you know what I mean, fairly. So what's that work out for you guys?
Yeah. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
6 p.m. So is that okay? I know it's going to be about tea time. Well, I say tea time, but dinner time for you guys. Yeah, is that okay for everybody else? And nobody else got an issue with it?
Golden.
I'm sure you could all make arrangements if you really want to be. But so, one of the things we do insist on, guys, is that whatever your libation, we insist you partake. So you know, whatever it is you like, please do and be intoxicated. Yeah, come to the party and party hard, because me and Fairley will be quite drunk before we even start, no doubt. And we will bumble our way through it as best we can. Yeah, that's. I mean, the whole start was absolutely nonced by me. So, and that's another bit, just a general information, guys. It is the word of the fucking day. I just want to show you this because Americans, you won't fully understand this, but unless you've seen a lot of English movies like Lock, Stock and Snatch and all the rest of them, but let's just write this word in Armada so you can all see it. Unless they've suddenly changed their minds on this. No, you can still do it. That, guys, that means child molester over here. So feel free to use this as the 81st new swear word, you know, seeing as how we can use it in chat, and I want to see people being called it in zone if they start pissing you off, because that's great. They won't even know, well, unless they're English, they probably won't know what it is you're calling them. Settings, community, right. What does that say? Oh, committee. So, with the awards in mind, is there anybody that would like to be on the awards committee other than who I'm saying you're on it and you don't have a choice? Those people know who they are, fairly. You're one of those guys. And PMed, who's not here, he's one of those guys. But does anybody else fancy being on the committee? The basic, what all that entails is be somewhere between now and Saturday the 25th, did I say, or what were it, 28th?
Yeah, 25th you said, yeah.
Yeah. Saturday the somewhere between now and Saturday the 25th we're going to have a big meeting, probably similar to what we're having now, but a little bit more casual and a little bit more fun, where we're going to sort out the list of every single award, what it is, who we think should get it, vote for who we think should get it, and then obviously plan out who it's going to be, what music they get as they come up and get it, something funny that's fitting for their character or for whatever the award is, you know, and just go down the list doing that for everything. There will be Armada leaders invited to this from obviously outside the 81st Fleet, so there'll be guys like Monty possibly there, Luke might be there, you know, other guys that might want to put some of their members up for some awards or what have you. Generally, it's kind of just like a long list of Hall of Fame, basically, in certain areas of Hall of Fame. The only ones that we actually give prizes out for are the best ship and the best character, and this is purely based on design, not based on how hard it hits or how great at science abilities, you know, and all the rest of it. It is just on what it looks like, and we'll give a prize for those two. Everything else is just, you know, bravado and a chance to have a laugh at people.
Quick question.
Yes.
To clarify, is it midnight as in Sunday morning or Saturday morning?
Yeah. It'd be, for us, it'd be Saturday to Sunday midnight.
Okay.
Yeah, we had that issue last year as well. Actually, people thought it was the next day. But yeah, so does anybody, I mean, I'm not going to go around the table, but does anybody fancy being on there if you just want to call out? Anyone fancy being on the committee? Lando? No?
I could if you need.
I will need at least one person from each of the 80 fleets to be on that committee. So I'll need one from the 82nd, one from the 83rd. Obviously, there's 4 from the 81st there, so that's not even matter. But I need one from the 82nd, one from the 83rd, definitely. 84th, not, because they're not in the Armada.
Okay, I'll do it.
You're happy to do it, Lando.
Yeah.
Gary, do you fancy being on that committee?
Yeah, no problem. I mean, if you can't get Norris.
I'm pretty sure Norris will be up for it, to be honest, either way.
Yeah.
But if he can't for whatever reason, would you be able to be like a fill-in ninja just in case he can't do it? And we'll try and make it a more reasonable time for you. Nope, sorted. Right, and that's pretty much everything. Any questions, anything at all now, guys? Anything that you've been waiting to ask or dying to ask, as long as it's fleet related, ask the questions now. Anybody got anything they want to say?
I take the award ceremony is going to be at Riser, is it?
Well, we're still yet to be determined. That'll be determined by the committee whether we decide to hold it on Riser again or whether we go for a maybe do it on the colony. The only reason we do it on Riser is because we get access to like the jetpacks and everything, so we can go hide a lot easier. You know what I mean? For when we do the game of hide and seek at the end. So that's why Riser's a good choice, because it's got the jetpacks and the boards. You know what I mean? Yeah, so we look nice in uniform on the video. Depending on the turnout for the awards, considering we are doing such a massive giveaway, we may have to hold it over 2 instances of Riser, with 5 guys with prizes on one instance and 5 guys with prizes on the other. But yeah, again, that's all to be worked out. It might be a bit of a logistical nightmare trying to sort that out, because obviously if I ask everybody to leave and go back up to their ships, if we haven't already got those 5 guys on the 2 instances, it's going to be a bit of a problem. Especially if it shrinks down to 1 instance, and then we have got even more issues. But again, that's for the committee to work out, not us humble folks sat around this table today. So if nobody's got anything to say, thank you very much for coming. It's just a case of onwards and upwards for the up to Christmas and the awards, and keep doing everything we're doing. We are probably one of the most noticeable presences in this game. As I like just the other day, I flew into ESD and I was looking around me and I thought, fucking hell, nearly everyone in here has got an 80 on them. So Lando, I'm attributing that 100% to you, sir. Well done. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's good, and it feeds the hatred of people like, and I'm gonna say it, yes, fairly, I'm gonna say it, Caveman, who thinks I'm trying to conquer the entire fucking universe and have everything owned by me, which is absolute hideous nonsense. No, I'm growing the 81st. That's all I'm doing. I'm growing the 80s brand. That's what I'm doing. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, and I will hopefully chat to you all sometime over the next few days. You take care. And broadcast.